Looks like the main event is starting, live on ORSN.
What matters most to any given shooter can vary wildly. Sometimes it's the hardcore tactical play of games like Hell Let Loose, or the careful competitive balance in options like Counter-Strike. Other times, it's the rich world and lovable characters that help Overwatch shine. For Star Wars Hunters, the main focus seems to be on having some quick, lighthearted fun in the Star Wars universe. This free-to-play hero shooter from developer Zynga is an enjoyable way to pass the time with friends, but a subpar competitive scene and uninspired progression rewards leave it too shallow to hold my interest for the long haul.
The young Sith was defeated!
And with that, the Bloodborne took the victory!
Star Wars Hunters doesn't have the over-the-top destructibility of the finals, nor the high-speed parkour of Apex Legends. It's a much more conventional hero shooter in the vein of Team Fortress 2, where two teams of bespoke characters, in this case called Hunters, participate in pure player versus player shootouts. The most notable way it sets itself apart from other shooters is its Star Wars coat of paint, which it puts to good use. Classic Star Wars music is equal parts nostalgic and exciting, while familiar locations like an Ewok village or Imperial rail yard do a great job of placing the action a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, especially when the blaster bolts start flying and the Wookiees start howling. It feels like the philosophy behind the character designs and writing was just have fun with it. For example, one of my favorite heroes is Utumi, who is literally just two Jawas in a trench coat. Another is J3DI, a droid simulating the combat style of a Jedi by wielding a lightsaber and using a grappling hook to faux force pull enemies closer. Even the play-by-play announcers contribute to the lighthearted Star Wars vibe. One hilarious bit of commentary talks about the action being sponsored by a new TV series on remembering Alderaan, but also serving an important reminder.
Take notes, stand-up comics. It will always be too soon.
There are 13 playable characters at launch, with a good mix of unique personalities and abilities across them. Amara Vex, for instance, is a classic Star Wars bounty hunter with skills that focus on mobility and firepower.
It's not personal.
While Graz is a massive, club-wielding Wookiee that lacks range but has an enormous amount of health. That variety of weapons and powers is effective at making each character unique in how they play, which also makes it exciting to swap between them and learn their differences.
Let my droids at him!
Down you go!
Matches, on the other hand, are pretty simple and straightforward, though still enjoyable overall. There are 4 game types, including a simple team deathmatch option called Squad Battle, and a basic point capture mode called Power Control, and they will all be very familiar to anyone who has played a PvP shooter before. Matches are short, roughly 5 minutes each, which makes sense since Hunters is only currently available on Nintendo Switch and mobile devices, but that also means they rarely have room for a lot of back and forth swings or come from behind drama. You can still be strategic and do things like hide healers behind tankier units, but there simply isn't a lot of time for counter strategies to play out. This is speed checkers, not chess.
Fighting fit again!
That may sound overly simplistic, but Hunters manages to be a lot of fun by still having nuance where it counts. Each character generally falls into a tank, damage, or support archetype. They're more effective when used in their assigned roles, but anyone can start blasting, or smashing, and knock out some opponents. That strikes a great middle ground of being balanced enough that skilled play will win most fights, but loose enough with abilities and supers that anyone can rack up kills in quick bursts of chaos.
I always get my mark.
Playing enough casual matches will eventually unlock a ranked playlist. This features all the same maps and game modes, but with a sweatier emphasis on winning, as the results now determine whether you move up or down the rankings from Bronzium to Kyber tiers. Unfortunately, this tends to funnel competitive teams towards some specific team compositions, as tightly grouped, tank-heavy squads currently dominate the battlefield. Sentinel in particular, with his shield, heavy repeater, and ability to knock enemies off their feet, is almost mandatory, for example. Having to choose between the joy of wielding a lightsaber and having a realistic shot at beating a good team is a shame.
Don't stop that!
At least either option is more fun with a full squad of buddies. I just wish the social menu, where you find friends and create teams, wasn't locked until you've completed 3 tutorial matches and 8 real games after that. Sorry this is proving to be a pain is an unfortunate thing to have to say when you're trying to play some quick rounds with a friend who is just starting out. It's an unfortunate barrier, because once you can play with friends, it's a joy to do so. I appreciate how simple it is to form squads. You know, once it lets you at all. And it's a hilarious good time to shout at your tank friend to stand still so you can shoot him full of health restoring needles during a chaotic battle. Because Hunters is free to play, as is often the case, it has a mix of free and premium currencies that dictate a lot of the progress you'll make towards unlockables and vanity items. New characters are unlocked using crystals, which are earned in small amounts after matches, but you can, of course, expedite the process by buying them outright for real money. In the early going, new Hunters become available at a reasonable clip, but it does slow down with each one you purchase. By the time you unlock half the roster, it slows to a painful crawl. I understand the value of giving players something to strive toward, but at a certain point it starts to feel more coercive than aspirational, which is a problem. Meanwhile, credits are used on cosmetic items and are exclusively free, earned by playing matches and completing additional challenges. I appreciate the way your list of challenges is constantly being pecked away at in the background, giving me some added incentive to mix up who I was playing as, since many of them focus on dealing damage with specific characters. But it's too bad that there are so few things you can actually buy with credits. It's normal to see dozens of items for sale on the front page of the shop, with only a few that can be purchased with credits as opposed to crystals, which makes them a bit pointless in practice. In terms of XP, it comes in two forms. First, there's fame, which applies to specific hunters. Like credits, playing matches and checking off challenges adds fame to a specific character, and every level up brings with it a reward. Some are purely cosmetic, like weapon skins and stickers. Others upgrade skills in small but meaningful ways. For example, one early upgrade for J3DI makes his fake force pull also drop a small health booster. The amount is small enough to not make higher level characters outright overpowered, but still substantial enough that leveling up feels exciting. It's a good mix, and having a path for each hunter to climb feels like a solid overall goal to work on for the short term. But the unremarkable weapon skins and stickers aren't nearly as interesting.
Better luck next time.
Lastly, there's the Arena Pass, a straightforward battle pass that rewards credits, crystals, and cosmetic items. Unfortunately, the rewards just aren't very appealing. Turning my gun a different color isn't exciting, and the amount of crystals you get are too little to make a dent in the cost to expedite unlocking new characters. Annoyingly, most levels won't even get you anything unless you pay around $10 for the All Access Pass. This is also how you unlock Aran Tal, a damage-focused Mandalorian hunter that is exclusive to All Access Pass holders. It's another area where Star Wars Hunters straddles the line between persuasive and problematic monetization. At least, it's not a terribly complicated progression economy, but it can sometimes feel like it thanks to a really rough interface between matches. The home screen is jarringly overloaded with far too many windows, tabs, and submenus. Claiming rewards for progress can happen in several different places, often in menus within menus within menus. It's especially tough because the UI only subtly highlights whatever you have selected, which can make it hard to see what you're actually about to click.
This one is mine.
Star Wars Hunters is a simple but enjoyable hero shooter. The Star Wars infused presentation is well executed, striking the right over-the-top tone without tipping into obnoxious. Its amusingly chaotic casual modes find a good balance of being accessible while still allowing skilled players to rise above the pack. It's just shallow beyond that fun, with a competitive scene that narrows the right choices down to just a few viable characters, and rewards that aren't very, well, rewarding. The most intriguing things you can earn are the additional hunters themselves, and that process eventually starts to feel like an overly aggressive monetization push. As it is, Star Wars Hunters is like a party at the Death Star. Impressive for a bit, but probably not a place you want to hang around for too long. For more, check out our reviews of Multiverses or Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. And for everything else, stick with IGN.